This year's All-Star Weekend was so good that if you asked a million different people what their favorite moment was, you're gonna get a million different answers. But if you know anything about this channel, you can probably guess my favorite moment. It was this, seeing the NBA's 75 best players take the court for a moment of unity, bringing legends of all eras together under one roof. This is a moment that the history books will never forget. But just how historic was it? For years, NBA legends have crossed paths in all-star games, Olympic tournaments, and even on the sets of commercials.
Mr. Director, we need a new script because we're getting awfully tired of doing that.
Kevin, calm down. And the NBA world eats moments like these up. There's just something magical in seeing so many recognizable faces all in one place. And so, I asked myself, what is the most basketball talent we've captured in one singular photo? Is this portrait of the NBA's 75 greatest players the most talented combination of ball players we've ever seen in one image? Let's do a little digging and find the one picture in NBA history with the most combined talent. Naturally, the NBA's NBA 75 portrait's biggest competitor should be its predecessor, this classic portrait of the NBA's top 50 players ever. With 25 less legends invited to attend, you may think that this portrait is no competition to the more recent one. But here's the thing, 33 of the NBA's top 75 players missed the photo shoot. How many missed this portrait? 3. 47 men made this photo, compared to the top 75's measly 42. The top 75 team combined for 431 All-Star appearances. The top 50, 458. The top 75 team had played 45,241 games. The top 50 played 47,245. They also scored more points, grabbed more rebounds, and played more minutes. These men have only 65 rings altogether, but these guys, they have 112, almost doubling their competition. Somehow, after adding 25 new names to the list, the portrait we got out of it got worse. So is the NBA's top 50 portrait the most star-heavy and legendary photo we've ever seen? Well, let's see. Let's begin our search at the place where NBA careers begin, the draft. It's tradition for the NBA's top picks to stick around and snap a few photos with their draft, which has given us some pretty classic shots. But when photographer Nathaniel Butler snapped this photo of the 1996 NBA draft class, he had no idea what he had just captured. Unbeknownst to anyone in the room, before them stood 2 MVPs, 7 All-Stars, and a group of men that would eventually play over 9,000 total games and score over 150,000 points. But the problem with drafts is that they're a mixed bag. These photos put generational talents like Stephen Curry just a few feet away from generational busts like Hasheem Thabeet. The Olympics, however, guarantee that everyone involved is indeed a star, leaving us with some absolutely legendary photographs of Team USA hanging out together, especially this one, which has to be a personal favorite of mine. Among active NBA stars, this is the best you're gonna get in terms of jam-packing them all into one photo. This one is up there too for sure. But of course, no Olympic roster can compete with the 1992 Dream Team, whose 12-man roster combined for 14 MVPs, 117 total All-Star appearances, and 267,958 career points. Not to mention that 11 of the 12 became Hall of Famers. Even their assistant coach, Lenny Wilkins, was a 9-time All-Star and a 2-time Hall of Famer himself as both a player and coach. Similar to the Olympic Games, All-Star Weekend also tends to do a pretty good job at bringing heaps of talent together all in one place. And no All-Star team photo pictured more stars than this portrait of Team West in the 2015 NBA All-Star Game. 2015 marked the rise of a new generation of ball players like Stephen Curry and James Harden becoming the faces of the NBA, but the old school guys like Dirk, Tim Duncan, and Kobe were still around and thriving, and thus we are left with this magical moment of generational overlap. all captured in one shot. The 15 men here have combined for an all-star team record of 137 combined career all-star appearances and 307,263 combined points, creating the greatest all-star team in NBA history. 9 of the men on this team made the NBA's top 75 list. 8 of them are NBA champions, and 9 total MVP trophies have been collectively earned by 7 of their members. As cool as it may be to see 7 MVPs on one all-star team, it was Team East of the 1962 All-Star Game that actually had the most successful team, with their members combining for 44 total championships won. The All-Star Game saw its most legendary rebounding team when the NBA voted in Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, Nate Thurmond, Walt Bellamy, and Gus Johnson all to make the same team, but we never got a picture of this historic Big Six. When it comes to rebounding, no photo is quite as legendary as this one when the Houston Rockets brought together some damn good rebounders for this photo shoot. In total, these 5 men have 53,000 career rebounds and over 2,800 career double-doubles. Aside from the All-Star Game itself, the weekend's other events also tend to be pretty star-studded. While people are critical of the fact that stars don't participate in the dunk contest anymore, they're sure as hell willing to be there on the sidelines. This photo of Zach LaVine only captures a fraction of the NBA talent actually there to witness the festivities. It felt like I was playing a game of Where's Waldo with how many legends were hidden all over the place in every frame of the video's footage, all in the time span of 8 condensed minutes. These are all the players you can spot at some point in the footage. Yeah. But it's not only the dunk contest. The three-point contest might not showcase the greatest of talent, but it definitely does showcase the greatest of shooting. This picture of the 2016 three-point contest has too many great shooters to count. The 12 snipers in this photo combine for 15,129 career three-pointers. But is this a record? Oh no, because in Game 2 of the Rockets and Warriors 2015 Western Conference Finals matchup, certain frames at particular moments display a group of players with a combined 15,347 career threes on screen, 200 more than the last photo. But that's when things get crazy, because in a January game between the Lakers and Nets this year, we got this frame. And how many threes do these guys have? 15,349, only 2 more than the last photo. The image with the most combined three-pointers is changing on almost a daily basis as these players pile on more and more threes to their career totals. Either way, the men in each of these respective photos are responsible for 3.4% of every single three-pointer ever made. The super teams that the Lakers and Nets have built this year have completely changed what it means to be a great team, and as a result, they've given us some pretty great photos. I mean, just look at this photo here. These 7 men have defined a generation of basketball, and yet here they are, all in one place, all in the same jersey. But the Brooklyn Nets are a whole other beast. And just think about it. In this season alone, they've had Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Ben Simmons, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Blake Griffin don Brooklyn's black and white jerseys. Not to mention their coaching staff, which consists of 6 retired NBA players, plus their GM, who was an 11-year NBA vet. This team combines for 15,465 total games played. That's the length of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career times 10. Despite being younger and less experienced, this team blows LA out of the water in just about every category. Scoring? Yep. Three-point shooting? That one goes to Brooklyn. They're even better at being all-stars, with 66 combined appearances split among 11 players. That's right, there have been 11 11 All-Stars to play for the Nets just this season. Even after crunching the numbers on iconic super team photos like this one of the 2019 Warriors, this one of the 2013 Lakers, and this one of the 2004 Lakers, none even come close to the talent this year's Brooklyn Nets have. All we need is just one moment where all this talent finally comes together in one place, and bada bing bada boom, we have ourselves a picture that will never be forgotten. But instead, we're stuck with images that only show bits and pieces of the legendary puzzle that is the Brooklyn Nets. A super team that didn't have this problem were the 2011 Celtics. With 8 All-Stars that combined for 62 total All-Star appearances, this roster is almost as good as Brooklyn's. This image of a casual regular season game between Boston and Phoenix accidentally captures a large portion of the 2000s greatest players, with even Vince Carter making a cameo. In 1967, we got this legendary photo of the Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers tipping off in the Eastern Conference Finals. And while only one team could secure the victory in this game, everyone involved in this photo ended up winners. Boston and Philly's starting fives combined for 38 total championships. 10 guys, 38 rings. This has to be a record, right? Well, let's just say, when the 1960 Boston Celtics described themselves as the greatest team in the entire history of basketball, they weren't lying. Let's take a look at just how many championships each one of these players won. Oh yeah, and let's not forget about Red Auerbach's 16 championships and team founder Walter A. Brown's 6 championships. Altogether, the 15 men on your screen won a total of 91 championships. Players fight tooth and nail their whole careers for just one of these things, and this crew got 91. But wait, there's more, because we haven't even yet gotten to this guy, team treasurer Louis A.R. Pieri, who won 4 Calder Cup championships in the American Hockey League as the general manager of the Providence Reds, and not to mention the fact that he also won countless rings with Boston. That's right folks, in this one photo, you're looking at a group of men with over 100 championships. It doesn't even matter what sport it is, this team can win. The 42 players pictured in the NBA's top 75 portrait combined for 65 total championships, while the 11 players in the Celtics portrait combined for 69. Bill Russell's Celtics dynasty wasn't only successful, they were more successful than every other legendary team and player from any time period, any era, any generation combined. If that's not legendary, I don't know what is. But no event has had more superstars hidden in plain sight than those good old Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Just take any frame from literally any Hall of Fame speech, and you can find an endless sea of NBA greats hidden away in the background. And no Hall of Fame induction can even come close to what we saw in the year 2010, when the entire Dream Team got on that stage to pay their respects. But that's not all. If you've ever watched a Hall of Fame speech, you know that most bring in honorary guests to join them on stage. Let's see who these guys pick.
Welcoming the team to the Hall of Fame are 3 members of the 1960 U.S. Olympic team: Walt Bellamy, Oscar Robertson, and Jerry West.
Oh my. With 15 total Hall of Famers, 15 total MVPs, 158 total All-Star appearances, 26 total rings, and 337,000 total points, there's never been a time in NBA history with this many legends all on one single stage. Unless we're counting this as a stage. I don't really know what this is. It's like a ring thing. Either way, we got some legends up here in both snapshots. So what is the most legendary photo in NBA history? Well, it depends on what makes a legend to you. If it's All-Star appearances or Hall of Fame inductions that dictate greatness in your mind, the NBA's portrait of the top 50 players should be your pick. If it's championships, then the 1960 Celtics team photo can't be beaten. For many younger fans, it's pictures like this that are going to connect with them most, and there's nothing wrong with that. For as much as numbers and success contribute to who we consider legendary, nostalgia and emotion can play an even bigger roll. For some, you can throw a million different legends in the same picture and still, it won't compare to a photo like this. And that's the beautiful thing about this conversation. There's no right answer. The NBA world is your oyster. Any photo can become legendary. And so, the only question left is which one will you choose?